The movie starts with a woman named Tess Marshall arriving at a house she rented on Airbnb during a heavy downpour. But when she gets to the door, she discovers the house keys aren't in the lockbox, like the booking agent instructed. Tess tries to contact whoever made the reservation, but only reaches voicemail and can only leave a message requesting a callback. To make things even more confusing, she sees that the lights inside the house are on. She then rings the doorbell and is surprised to see a man inside. The man's name is Keith, and we learn here that he's currently renting the same house. So it seems the booking agent accidentally made a double booking. Since they can't reach the booking company, and it's pouring rain outside, the man lets Tess in out of sympathy. Keith then shows her his booking confirmation on the app to prove he's being honest. Still feeling uncomfortable being in the same house with the man, Tess starts looking for the nearest hotel, but finds out it's completely booked for the night. Keith, who overhears her call, informs her that there's a major medical conference happening in town, making it impossible to find an empty hotel room. Therefore, he suggests she stay for the night and offers her the bedroom. After carrying her suitcase inside, she goes into the bedroom and finds his wallet. She decides to take a picture of his ID for safety reasons. She returns the wallet to him and then takes a shower. When Tess returns to the hallway, she finds him waiting for her with a sealed bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Still cautious, she politely declines the drink but agrees to sit down with him, and the two have a casual conversation. After revealing she's in town for a job interview with a filmmaker named Catherine James, Keith tells her he's actually seen Catherine James' latest movie. On top of that, Catherine James' next film would focus on a Detroit music collective, and Keith just happens to be one of the founders. Finding a connection, Tess relaxes and they get drawn into a lively conversation. Finally, Keith puts on a funny display of how to flip a fresh set of sheets, making her laugh. Together they put the new sheets on the bed for her to sleep in, and as Keith says goodnight, it's obvious he's developing feelings for her. However, during the night, she's startled awake by a creaking door swinging open. To make things even more unsettling, she hears Keith mumbling for help in his sleep. This prompts her to cautiously approach his room. Meanwhile, unnoticed in the background, another bedroom door creaks open. She then abruptly wakes Keith up, leaving him quite confused. Tess explains she heard her door open and thought it might be him, but he denies it with bewilderment. After apologizing, she double-checks the lock before returning to sleep. In the morning, Keith is nowhere to be found, but she discovers a note from him saying he's out and had a wonderful time with her the previous night. Finally leaving for her interview, she takes a good look around for the first time and realizes that every single house in the neighborhood is completely dilapidated and vacant, except for the one she's staying in with Keith. However, pressed for time, she ignores this glaring warning sign and heads to her interview. After the interview, Catherine James asks her which part of Detroit she's staying in, and Tess replies with Brightmoor. Alerted by the mere mention of the place, Catherine expresses concern for Tess's safety, urging her to avoid the notorious neighborhood. However, Tess dismisses her worries. Upon returning home, a fleeting glimpse in the background reveals a homeless man sprinting. Panic sets in as his shouts demanding her departure echo through the house. Tess frantically scrambles for the keys, slamming the door shut just in time. Shaken, she attempts to dial 911 while keeping a watchful eye on the man, only to be met with the disheartening news of no available units. Left with no choice, she settles in for the night, packing her belongings for an uncertain future. Later, the sudden realization of a toilet paper shortage upstairs sends her on a mission to the basement. Returning from the task, however, she witnesses a chilling sight. The door swings shut with an unsettling creak, locking her in. To compound her predicament, her phone lies abandoned in the bedroom, while the key to freedom rests mockingly in Keith's pocket. Glancing at the window, she considers her options for breaking free. But fate has a different plan. A dangling rope catches her eye. With a hesitant tug, the basement wall reveals a dark and ominous door, hinting at the unknown terrors lurking within. Time drags on, boredom setting in. A desperate Tess utilizes a mirror to reflect light into the abyss, revealing a seemingly endless hallway plunging into darkness. Unable to resist the lure of exploration, Tess pushes open the door at the end of the hallway. Inside the cramped room, a horrifying tableau unfolds. A blood-stained bed sits beside a rusty bucket, and an antique camera rests on a dusty surface. Overwhelmed by terror, she flees back to the basement. Relief washes over her as Keith arrives. Frantically, she relays her discovery through the window, handing him the key for his entrance. Her frantic rambling about a gruesome room filled with a bed, camera, and bucket fails to elicit any alarm from Keith. He regards these items as commonplace basement finds and decides to investigate himself. Keith instructs Tess to remain upstairs, wary of the self-closing door. Impatience gnaws at her, and she ventures down to check on him. As she descends, the dreaded door creaks shut once more. This time, however, a chair wedges it open, granting her temporary access. Her calls for Keith go unanswered. Plunging back into the inky darkness, she retraces her steps to the ominous room. But Keith is nowhere to be found. A new discovery awaits her in the hallway, a previously unseen door revealing a descending staircase. Tess's blood runs cold as her name is met not by Keith's voice, but by a blood-curdling scream. With no other option, she follows the sound into the depths, her hope dwindling with each step. The echoing screams lead her through a labyrinth of dark corridors, where she stumbles upon a sight that sends shivers down her spine. Multiple rusty cages equipped with dog bowls. Lost in the labyrinthine house, Tess finally stumbles upon a cowering Keith, whimpering about a vicious bite. Fear hangs heavy as they bicker over the escape route. Their frantic escape attempt is cut short by the horrifying emergence of a naked, humanoid monstrosity. In a savage attack, it smashes Keith's head against the wall, killing him instantly. The creature lets out a blood-curdling scream directed at Tess, leaving her fate a complete mystery. The scene shifts abruptly to A.J. Gilbride, a celebrated Hollywood actor facing a life-altering phone call. Accusations of sexual misconduct by a co-star have thrown his career into turmoil. Facing a lawsuit, he scrambles to secure funds for his defense. A.J. visits a rental property he possesses in Detroit, unexpectedly discovering it to be the exact house located in Brightmoor. Upon arrival, he notices Tess's car parked outside, and her belongings, alongside Keith's, strewn throughout the house. This enrages A.J., leading him to suspect squatters have occupied his property. He attempts to contact his property manager, but she asserts that no recent Airbnb reservations have been made. Dismissing this information, he ventures out to meet a friend, during which it's revealed that A.J. indeed sexually assaulted his co-star, although he adamantly denies it. The following morning, he begins exploring Keith and Tess's belongings, driven by curiosity about their identities. His morbid curiosity turns practical as he spots Tess's laptop. A username reveals her identity, and car keys on the dining table hint at another possible location, the basement. An unsettling feeling crawls up his spine, but the potential for squatters spurs him on. He throws on clothes, grabs a small knife for protection, and grabs a flashlight to pierce the basement's gloom. Descending the stairs, a loud thump resonates from a wall. A frayed rope protrudes from the bricks. Curiosity outweighs caution, and A.J. pries open a hidden door. However, his focus remains firmly on property value. A dark hallway and a strange room with a bed and camera, perfect for a renovation. He gleefully pulls out a measuring tape, meticulously calculating square footage. His excitement intensifies as he discovers another hidden door leading even deeper. A.J. descends, measuring every step of the way. Even the sight of rusty cages fails to faze him. Driven by avarice, he pushes onward, lured by a faint light flickering from the tunnel's depths. He emerges into a foul-smelling room. A small TV flickers with an outdated baby care video. An unsettling tug on his measuring tape sends shivers down his spine. He lets it go, a primal fear gripping him as a terrifying sound rips through the silence. He sprints down the tunnel, heart hammering in his chest. Suddenly, a horrifying creature blocks his path. Panic surges through him, propelling him forward in a desperate bid for escape. He trips, tumbling down a hidden hole. Landing with a thud, he finds himself face to face with Tess, her fate now intertwined with his own. We flash back to the 1980s. The house's original owner, Frank, packs up and drives away. Outside, the street bustles with neighbors. At the grocery store, Frank claims he needs baby supplies for a newborn. Back in his car, a sinister shift, he fixates on a woman, following her home. Disguised as a city worker checking for outages, Frank enters her house and unlocks the bathroom window before leaving. A neighbor mentions people fleeing due to an economic crisis, but Frank insists he's staying put. Back in the present, Tess urges A.J. to stay calm to appease the creature. It descends, offering a foul-smelling baby bottle. Tess dutifully consumes the foul milk, urging A.J. to follow suit, as the entity merely desires them as its offspring. However, he declines. Perceiving something amiss, the creature descends into the pit with them, tenderly embracing Tess. The entity approaches A.J., employing an eerie, babyish tone. Subsequently, she yanks A.J. by his legs and departs, leaving Tess isolated in the hole. The mother conveys A.J. to the TV room and compels him to nurse. Concurrently, Tess seizes the moment to ascend from the pit and flee. Unfortunately, she generates noise while traversing the measuring tape, prompting the creature's pursuit. To exacerbate matters, the basement entrance is secured, compelling her to commence crawling through the minuscule window, aided by a destitute individual, moments before the mother's arrival. As it transpires, the local homeless populace possessed prior knowledge of the house's inhabitant, who aligns with the earlier encountered figure. According to the homeless man, the creature emerges nocturnally and will seek Tess, necessitating her immediate departure. Furthermore, the creature shares the basement with an accomplice. Meanwhile, A.J. ventures deeper into the tunnels, encountering a bell and power line, which he elects to follow. The hidden room revealed a frail figure, Frank, aged beyond recognition. Above ground, Tess, fueled by adrenaline, reached a gas station. Bargaining with the weary shopkeeper, she secured a phone call to emergency services. The responding officers, however, dismissed her frantic pleas as the ramblings of a drug addict. Determined, Tess convinced them to investigate, but their arrival brought only skepticism. The officers saw only a disheveled stranger and left, deaf to her warnings about AJ's peril. Meanwhile, in the subterranean chamber, Frank, with a weak gesture, directed AJ to his bedside drawer. Inside, AJ stumbled upon a collection of tapes, each marked with a woman's name. Curiosity piqued, he played one, only to be met with the harrowing sounds of a violent assault. Disgusted and enraged, AJ confronted Frank. The tension escalated until, in a shocking move, Frank drew a gun from the drawer and upstairs. Desperate to escape the house, Tess smashed a window and retrieved her car keys. Triumphant, she reached the vehicle, but her victory was short-lived. The monstrous mother emerged, forcing Tess to slam the car into her, pinning her against the wall until she lay still. With no time to lose, Tess raced downstairs to find AJ. Below, armed with Frank's gun for protection, AJ ventured back into the dark tunnels. Tragedy struck in the claustrophobic depths. A misplaced shot tore through Tess, leaving her wounded. Ignoring the searing pain, AJ helped Tess flee the collapsing house. To their astonishment, the creature was gone, vanished from the mangled car. Escape routes were limited. Tess's car was totaled, and AJ's keys were lost in the darkness. With grim determination, Tess, despite her injury, led the way towards the hidden haven of the homeless man. Here, a homeless man tells them that the original homeowner, Frank, was a criminal who held women captive and forced them to have children. He then made those children reproduce with each other, resulting in generations of inbreeding. The mother is the end result of this, having lived in the house for over 40 years. The man assures them they are safe because the creature never ventures far from the house. However, he is proven wrong when the mother suddenly appears and attacks him. Terrified, AJ and Tess run to a nearby water tower, though Tess struggles due to her injuries. Once at the top, AJ remembers he has a gun, but he clumsily drops it. Trapped with no escape, AJ reveals his true colors. Knowing the creature would protect its offspring, he throws Tess off the tower. The mother reacts as planned, shielding the baby from the fall. Believing the mother dead, AJ descends to check on Tess. We see the mother actually save Tess, who miraculously survived. AJ lies, claiming Tess slipped, but to his horror, the enraged mother rises and attacks. With brutal efficiency, she gouges out AJ's eyes and crushes his skull. The mother then tenderly tries to lift Tess, but the injured woman is in too much pain. The mother coos and attempts to lead Tess back through the tunnels, but Tess grabs AJ's gun. With a flicker of regret, she aims it at the mother and fires. Tess then stumbles out seeking help. And on that shocking note, the movie ends. Thanks for joining this recap of Barbarian 2022. See you next time.